Here
It
we
says
are
go live.
again.
Hey!
Hello, YouTube.
We're gonna do another weekly review. So I just put my timer up. So the way this goes is I have to mute the Safari that's on delay before I go insane hearing my own voice. That's what we have to do. I forget that every time. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually do our own live weekly review and often think out loud or be like, oh yeah, this is the thing I'm doing. Try to model our particular neurodiverse techniques, process. Yeah, something like that. And maybe you see something that's useful to you. Maybe you just enjoy working along with us. Whatever it is, welcome. And we do like to be like honest, let's put it that way, you know,
Real.
Right. Authentic is another word. I like that one. And this time we have a Google Doc. That is the wrong Google Doc though. Where's the correct one? Okay.
Version wars.
So, Colleen has used her unicorn superpowers. Got it. I do not need to see all these things. To create a document that then I can add on to as we go along. I'm trying to make it not suck. Okay. Well, you know, it had like, oh, here's your headings and like, here's all this information. It's like, you know, I don't need that right now. So then we can share that and you can follow along. And yeah. Anything else before we get started?
I don't think so, except we have had a 2-week break. So this represents coming back from a break, which is not off the wagon because we were both on vacation-ish.
It was intentional.
Yeah, so it was intentional, but it also means that there's been more time. And we also have been, I think I have, but I think you also have been experiencing the like, oh, my brain is trying to take things back to keep it there, which is a good indicator that a weekly review would be very useful. So that's one of the contextual things around here.
An interesting one I noticed in the last couple of days is I've been trying to ease my way back into a work mode while my sister and her kids are still visiting.
Yeah.
Is noticing there are things that I feel like I captured that I did not capture. Which is, that's mine that I've been struggling with is, I'll do that thing. And it's in my, no, I don't think I captured that. Or something that Colleen and I had talked about yesterday, which was, I swear I wrote stuff down that was here and I captured them for us to do in such a way that they would be easily searchable. But that is not what happened. And so the sort of like, my brain thinks things have been captured that have not. And but also the old things that are like, oh, that's totally captured are reoccurring to me, which is a good time to look over what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I, in true ADHD fashion, have not actually looked over this one that you made yet. It's not divided, looking at it now, into the like sections of the other one.
No, it's very idiosyncratic, and also it is not complete either. So I'm gonna pull it up too, because I think I've added 1 or 2 things, and some of it's not like review at all. Like one of them is prune my notes app, which a lot of people could never do in one day, let alone in 2 minutes like I do. So it's very idiosyncratic, and that needs to be made very clear.
Yeah. And a lot of these are just sort of, and I don't know if I've said this here or somewhere else, but like a lot of this is, I wanted one of these, like I wanted to see what a real person did, not just like this sort of picture perfect feeling hypothetical thing. I wanted to see what it looked like for real. And so that's part of where this came from, was wanting that myself. And I still sort of do. So, and that really is sort of just very real. We're just trying to get this all done together. So yeah, this one does not, this one isn't broken up, but as sort of a reminder, because I think I do like that those dividers. So they're get clear. Actually, do I have the PDF up? I can still it up. Get clear, get current, get creative, which I feel like that's what happens the rest of my life. I don't need as much structure for that.
Yeah.
But I'm still using it right now as a guidepost as I try to get into this.
Yep.
And I've said it here. I have had very successful weekly reviews. Back when my life was simpler and I could have a simpler system. And so I am still trying to really make my current world demands actually work within the GTD format. It's not like I've never done it, but it's also like, do I know what success looks like for my current life? I'm still working on that. And I want to be pretty, when it was simpler, which is again, a good argument for keeping your life as simple as you can. I did great reviews and I called them done. As a person with ADHD, that's, a pretty big, So we'll see where we get to with that. So I'm still using this as a guidepost while I'm trying to find, okay, for my current reality and complexity needs, what's working and what's not. Bolding. Okay. So for my first get clear, I'm actually going to do something that's a little bit less orthodox, I guess. That thing with ADHD where like whatever is happening in front literally feels the most important thing, like whatever's top of my focus. If I'm talking to somebody, even though I told myself I'm going to go to bed like 2 hours before now, but that person's in front of me right now or like on the phone or whatever. And so like, that's the most important thing, not that other thing I committed to. And because my life has gone through a few changes recently, I want to first start by a quick like overview of priorities. Like which roles are the most important for me to focus on right now? And so I'm going to do a quick version of that. And then I'm going to do a quick like 10-minute process of drafts. And that'll be my first one. I assume you're good with yours.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Empty head. Okay, that'll be my get clear task for today. Starting up timer. And here I go. Gonna do a check-in. I may have more empty head later, but the overview of my priorities, which was intended to be 5 minutes and definitely has been longer than that. A lot of stuff came out then, and I just captured it as it occurred to me. Because empty, my head was already on the list. We can overthink about like doing exactly the thing we did at the right time, but I'm not going to fight my brain that much. So some of the empty head has already been done. As I was going through and like, okay, so what's really important? And part of the reason, again, is just like, okay, so now when I dip into, a particular inbox, I'll know what to dismiss instead of process, right? Like it helped me make better priority choices because I was like, okay, what really matters to me right now? And especially in time sensitivity, I have a big deadline coming up, some of the things like that. So that's what I got. And if it looks like Colleen's ignoring me, it's because she's turned down the volume. Not have her own sensory overload. Okay, so I don't know how to do strike through on here. This is the current one. In case anybody cares, because I'm processing drafts, the app on iPhone. I have a shortcut that opens up only drafts created in the last week to sort of help me focus on, only the more recent ones and not feel like it's never ending. I can actually get to the bottom of it.
Brittany.
Colleen.
The screen share is on Amazon now.
Oh, oops, thanks. Now which one's sharing? Just
I thought it looked like innocuous stuff, but I'm like, ooh,
It totally is, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is what we call a 2-minute action. Okay, I don't know what this Amazon layout is. It's been a while since I looked on the web, but oh gosh, I'm not a fan. Every once in a while you see these things and you're like, I don't understand the world. Who needs to subscribe to a bottle brush? Wait. Oh, that's wrap. I just saw it. Okay, so I was writing down the last thing that I was trying to do. All the notes I usually leave to myself so I can pick up where I left off. I'll text Colleen. So this is sort of the Pomodoro, we're wrapping it up, writing where you left off, which means I spent the amount of time that I meant to in my processing drafts. But I came up with some stuff I actually really sort of need to take care of.
My audio is back on. Hi, everybody.
Hi. So I'm gonna shake.
While I was looking at my calendar, I started like fiddling with my hair and stuff. And so what there is of it. And so I went to grab my fidget spinner, which looks like Captain America's shield, so I could have it in my left hand. Because I was scrolling with my right hand and I still needed a thing. So neurodiversity. Continue.
Hi. So I'm gonna write down where I left off so I will know where I left off.
Okay.
So I left off going back to our actual document. So I did those guys. I'm feeling pretty good about my ability to capture new things as they occur to me.
Yay.
Not like moving forward, but like through this review. We'll find out what happens in the future.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of planning out what do I pick up when I get back. I think I can actually do a pretty quick calendar review, but I'm actually thinking here and feedback. I'm actually thinking that one of the better next plans for me is I have a bunch of notes that I've taken, like organizational notes, and they really need to be imported into my system to feel current. And so I'm going to import, that's how you spell that, projects into my node, and I'm not used to writing these out. I have my focus. I have a shorthand that I usually use. I'm trying to, for everybody else's benefit. So the first thing I'm going to do when I come back is I'm going to import these new projects into my node and OmniFocus. My node is sort of like where my projects germinate and lots of things can live. OmniFocus are, at least this is my intention. Every once in a while I catch something that's a little wishful, but the OmniFocus is supposed to be, these are the actions I've committed to doing in like a soon enough fashion that it's okay for them to be this like solidified. And I specifically need to see them at a particular time or place. So that's why they'll all go into my node, and then only a few of them will go into OmniFocus. What are you going to do when we get back? Where did you get to?
I cleared my inbox, except for one item, which was a recipe, which is currently like marinating, literally marinating. So I don't know if it's useful or not. So I left it in the inbox so that next time around I'll see it and I'll be like, oh, did that work or not?
Okay.
which I think is a very effective method of proving that every rule has an exception. So yeah, I process. I scan my calendar, and I actually tried to scan it more like David Allen, just like, does anything occur to me? Nothing did. Well, I think one thing did. I can't remember. And I processed my inbox, and I did a couple of 2-minute actions, including, did I, can I import from Apple reminders to Todoist on my phone? And the answer is no. And I also tried to figure out an automation for it. I couldn't. I'm not the automation expert of the world. I am, in fact, the opposite of that. So there could be a way that I don't know. So we can talk about that later. But for now, I don't know, because the problem is that on the watch, for things and reminders, you can input data through the scrabbly, scratchy method on the watch. But with Todoist, you have to do it verbally, like with Siri, or like whatever, the dictation. And if I'm lying down and the toddler is almost asleep, I don't want to dictate. So I put things into the reminders app last night and had to remember they were there to transfer them today, which is not optimal. So, yep.
I'm being so good right now.
What?
Is this a problem we can solve with shortcuts?
I tried. That's what I said.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
I tried to set up an automation through Siri shortcuts that I couldn't figure out.
You said Siri, not shortcuts, as in shortcuts the app. There's a lot of confusing terminology that actually mean different things.
Siri shortcuts. Yes.
The shortcuts app.
I couldn't figure out the correct trigger because there isn't when a reminder is created, at least not that I could find.
Oh, what I was going to suggest is a shortcut you can run on your watch.
Oh.
To be like, I need to add something to Todoist, and that's its job. Its only job is to manually let you add things to Todoist.
Okay.
I'm not actually automated Todoist, but I'm aware that people do.
Is that a short enough thing we could do now, or should we do it some other time?
No, probably another time.
Okay, then I will capture that.
Also, remember, I didn't eat my breakfast yet.
Right.
So I need to go on our break for real. No, I got the food, but I didn't have time to eat it before it was time for live stream.
Okay.
Okay. Are you adding it to your inbox for a later thing to do? Okay. Yeah.
There we go. Now you will help me with it. Thank you. Okay. So stuff. Yes.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's take our stretch break, which mostly means me muting and standing just off camera, so nobody has to watch me eat on a live stream, because that's
all righty. I'm gonna not mute and probably tip. There's a bunch of boxes, but I mean, in fairness, the boxes are. You stand up and start eating. The boxes in the view are either empty, waiting to be like collapsed, or they're full of one kind of item being ready to store. Actually, you know what I can do too is I can just go store those boxes and feel better about myself. I think I'll do that. Then I'm gonna do yoga. So, but you mute and eat. That's what we'll do.
Okay, so this is a stretch break.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
And one of my stretching things apparently is going to be moving boxes.
Okay, you stretch real good with that.
And I'm also going to do yoga, but that's all right.
Apparently Colleen decided that that level of box and grunting was not acceptable and muted. I'm totally teasing. You don't have to get up. Do your stretching. I actually unmuted to say something that seemed super relevant. And it's gone. It's gone. I'll say it real quick and get right off. And it's very profound. You could just assume it was going to be super profound.
Well, yes. I would assume that, yes.
I would not. But
well, that's why I'm here, so that I can feel that for you.
You can make me feel better? Okay. Well, I've got like 45 seconds to finish eating, so I'm mute again real quick.
Do that. Also, while you're still muted and eating, it's fine. I'm just going to talk. I need to go next break. I need to go and check my oven machinations and so on. Yep.
Oh, look, it says start.
Hey!
I can finally take my breakfast vitamins.
Good. Good. Excellent.
I'm a ridiculous person. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And I wrote my next action. I'm super proud of this. It says right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Hey, do you know how to do strike through on Google Docs? I just don't like Google Docs much, and I haven't set it up on this new computer yet.
Which do you hang on. Format, text, strike through, Alt Shift 5 on Windows, probably something else on Mac.
Paragraph. Oh.
Format, text, strike through.
Wow. Well, I want it to be the one that so I'm feeling like this first one, now that I'm looking at it again, is a little bit vague, and I want credit. Like, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but sometimes I really need credit for the fact that this is way more complex than I broke it down for. It also makes it a little more daunting. So I'm going to specifically say Apple feedback project. Conference video. And there are actually a bunch of those. Like when I sat down and did my priorities, like I want to make sure those are all that are captured from them. So there are 6 things to update. Okay. That's actually a lot. That might take this whole segment. Okay, I'm going to turn it back to the start for reals.
Okay. My pelvis and lower back is so much better after I did that stretching.
Good. I did walk around while I ate.
Okay. What?
I was looking, so I volunteer for a bunch of different organizations, and I was looking at the thing I wrote on it as an action for my like volunteer hat, is some people call it, like, or life area. And it was like this automation to like make it easier to take notes in the meetings. And I looked at it and I just laughed. I was like, yeah, now Brittany doesn't even give a crap about that. It was funny. Anyway, not that it's not good to take notes, but just like the level of work involved when my first couple attempts were not successful. It's just like, you know, I'm just going to do that live, open up the email while we're starting the meeting and import and just do it manually, because that was too much work for the actual payoff. Or take notes on a blank page. It's all fine.
Yep.
It's all going to be fine.
Yeah.
By design, I'm just not that important. As in, I have not taken on so many responsibilities as to need to track it better.
Yes. Okay, I'm going back on mute.
Just spotted a 2-minute action that will get it off my mind and let me delete it from my mind. I'm not supposed to be reviewing it, but I'm trying to like close the most egregious open loops that I run across. I mean, I'd like to clean it up, but I don't have that headspace today, except for things that I just happened to come across. And yes, it is something to look into yourself if you never have the headspace. But in this case, you know. Oh, right. Okay, I'm pulling out of this rabbit hole. If you ever use Venmo, just remember you can change it to private so not everyone can see your personal business. But by default, everyone can see who you've paid and who's paid you and what the notes were on it. It's like, oh, that's interesting what this person is doing that I barely contact. This is not what I need to be doing right now. But yeah, heads up, people can see it. Okay. Delete. That feels good. Okay. My grunt was realizing I'm not very far along in my import process, and I started with the easiest one.
Hello, here I am.
Hi.
How'd you do?
Slow. I mean, I did one, but it was like, oh, that was the fast one. That should be 5 minutes. Yeah. So
we're surprised. We really are.
Yeah, I'm making faces at you. Yeah, it's slow, it turns out. So I did that one, but it's like, oh, okay, that was the most of the time.
Yep.
So I did that. And then the next one was going to be the conference one. But okay. I'm realizing that one of the things I was going to do is really not a thing to do in weekly review. It is a task that must be imported into my system.
It's funny because I am currently doing a thing that I inputted into my system, but then my brain was like, but I really want to do it, even though it's a more than 2-minute action.
I know the feels.
Yeah.
You're like, but I'm interfacing with it right now.
Yeah.
Okay. title of my talk.
All right, I'm gonna take a minute and go check on the oven and be right back.
Oh yeah, it's totally time to do a wrap. I'm just having a hard time letting go.
Yeah, I know.
Go do your thing. I'm gonna go into wrap mode and be good. But I need to wrap up the thought I'm having before I write down the next thing. So I should tell her how weird those stairs sound. Okay. Okay. Okay, this really does have a due date. Oh, right, wrapping. That's hard. It's hard to stop sometimes. But this one really does have a due date. I'm sad that when I have this connected to the computer, the timer doesn't make any noise, because what I'll sometimes do is like go back a step and then it'll make a ding again and pull me out of it, but it doesn't make any noise when it's plugged in. So I need, what did I say, total of 7 shooting days? It really has to be done by.
Whoops, I had an accident.
So strange.
I know.
You know, for my conference talk, they want the true false questions, which is fine. I want people to be able to get credit for it. Do you know what the deadline for it is?
Tomorrow?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
To a group of mostly people with ADHD.
Yeah. So, do you want to explain to our potential watchers the pitfalls of that particular deadline for folks with ADHD or neurodiverse in general?
You've already feel terrible because you should have already done it. You should be doing it right now, but there's no actual incentive to do it right now because there's no deadline to work towards to actually engage your motivational networks. I stopped moving my fingers and counting up. I just kept talking. There's a lot of reasons, but that's really dumb. Also, it makes me feel like, well, no, because the easiest time for me to do it is after I've shot all the material and I know for sure all the things that I'm saying in this particular talk, since it's pre-recorded because it's 2021. And so I feel like that's actually the best time. And since you didn't give me a better deadline, part of my brain is like, you can have them when I'm done shooting. You can have them with the PowerPoints. So it's just going to sit in my task manager, sitting there with no incentive to get it done at any particular time.
Yikes.
Because the most convenient time for me really is when I submit the PowerPoints for the talk.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sucking at rapping. I think the issue is I have more things to hypothetically input. And I just want to like capture them before I get up, but I know better than that. And so what I really need is to my actual like where I'm leaving off and blah blah blah. I think what I need to do is sometimes there's a thing that's big and a lot of tasks belong anytime, right? Scheduling every task of your life, if you have ADHD, is not a recipe for success sometimes. Some people it is. but some things are done. But sometimes it's like a big block that needs focus and needs some dedication. And I think that might be true in the case of this task. Especially with family in town.
By the way,
What?
The thing that I'm roasting was exactly the right temperature when I poked it.
That's beautiful. Yes. I don't understand how those words go together, but I'm really happy for you.
With my thermometer.
Okay. Sorry. That makes more sense than just poking it.
I poked it with like, no. I inserted the
choice.
The temperature gauge device, but you had no way of knowing that. Yes.
I'm writing in 5 minutes because I just do not trust myself with time today. Man, it's a beast. Okay, so what I really need, I am struggling to switch tasks today. Like I'm just noticing this about myself. I think I already knew it, but don't worry. It's just the area of my entire new life that I'm going to, because sometimes it's good to be really concrete. I don't have to list out all of my life areas, which I'm sort of self-conscious doing on the internet, but like, what's the very next thing I'm going to do? So I can like see it and not just sit there going like, what am I doing now? So it's there, it's new life. And now I really actually need to get up and stretch.
Okay.
So here we go. Disengaging is hard today. I'll be back.
Scam call number 5 today. 5. No, 6. It's 6. I have had 6 scam calls today, and it is 2:30 my time. All right. Hi. Were you on mute for a second?
I was on mute and then it was like not connecting to audio at all.
That's weird.
I have no idea if like other people could hear you or not. Because, you know.
Well, I was on mute too, up until then.
Okay.
But yeah, I am feeling, so I just went through my internal system list of GTD stuff for the review, and the remainder I feel are important, but I have a ton of resistance to doing them. I'm not sure why.
So which ones are those? I can scroll up.
So I have a specific project I need to plan because it's about 2 weeks away and time specific.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, let me figure out when that is. So yeah, tomorrow it'll be 2 weeks away. So I need to plan that so that I can not lose my mind and plan and with packing and stuff. I don't want to plan that. And so that one's kind of like a little bit specific to the current circumstance. I do not want to review my next actions list because I've been feeling remarkably unproductive lately, but I was on vacation, so I need to cut myself slack, but I don't want to. And I'm having a hard time doing so. And I do not want to review projects. I so hard do not want to review projects. And I don't want to do my parenting review either.
Okay. That's interesting because like it's totally normal, I feel like, but I just still want to call it out. Like on the one hand, you're like, yeah, it's cool. I was on vacation, but another part of your brain is like, yeah, but it's not really cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like the logic and the emotion are just not in alignment.
Yeah. But it helped to pretend like they're my actions that I didn't get done.
No, I don't know why.
Because then it'd be easier. It would be easier to have compassion on me than on you. Or compassion with. I'm not using words.
Yeah, no, compassion for I think is right, but I don't. My brain is just not accepting that for some reason.
Okay.
Okay. I think part of the reason I don't want to is it just always feels like it takes so long and it is useful, but so I'm gonna try and just bash through it. I think I'm gonna do the review projects. No, I'm gonna do next actions. That's my first. So
okay, so you're gonna do those and like hope it like give yourself permission to quit after that one if you still hate it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I like that because sometimes we're like, oh, I don't want to interface with it at all, but then it's like our hatred of it just increases. So yeah, I like that.
So I'm gonna when we look, I'll be like, okay, what is the time? 2 minutes. If you still hate it, we can stop. Yep.
Cool. I like it. I like the I'm doing it anyway, and if I hate it, I can still stop.
Yep.
Okay. So on mine, I am going to schedule this task first. I'm not going to take more than 5 minutes. And then I'm going to move on to my getting my new life areas in. It is not looking awesome for the whole calendar overview part, which is important, but I'll see how quick I can bash these other ones in. I can cram them into my existing system. Yeah, just like that, basically. Okay, looking at the clock.
I just realized because you said that the reason that I don't want to review that I won't want to plan the project is that I'm thinking that I have to plan it in my computer system or my phone, but I need a notebook. My notebook's right here, but I hadn't thought, okay, so if I get to that, I'll do it with a notebook, which is annoying to transcribe into my digital system, but you know, you and I have
that's what I have to do now too. Like that's
planning.
What I'm hating about this next one. It's just transcribing it into my digital system.
Yep.
Even though it is digital, like it's not good at recognizing my handwriting because it's just too terrible. Okay. Okay.
Found an item I did.
Nice. I'm excited. This does not feel possible. So the type of task, in case this helps anybody, that I'm trying to do is like a sit down and like really focus, write, like import these ideas in and manipulate them. So I'm really creating like the outline I will shoot my conference talk from, which requires deep focus. And I'm looking at my calendar and the number of days my sister will still be visiting me. And I do not know how I will get that kind of deep focus outside of a meeting. My brain just gets stuck because it's like, if I'm being realistic, which is good. She's so pleased with herself about something.
I have finished my inbox or my next actions, and I'm gonna start planning that project in my notebook.
Oh my gosh, look at you. Oh, since it's more than 5 minutes, I should mention that I did not realize I had done the task. In fact, I was like, what was that thing I was supposed to do for 5 minutes? And I went back and looked at the list, which is why I write it down. I did schedule some time. I'm not as optimistic as I would like to be about it. But I honestly just don't have that much time to myself right now. That's quiet. So I'm gonna see what I can do with it. With what I do have. And I guess I'd started looking over my calendar, which probably shows that it needed some updating. I'm going to unhighlight these. Highlight this. I'm going to go into my calendar overview and finish doing that because it seems to feel very salient right now. And when I'm looking over the calendar, if I see something that I know is missing, rather than force my brain to keep filling it in, which is cognitively taxing, if it's a quick thing, I'm gonna run the thing. Like, there's some calendar events I know are going to fill out as soon as I run the shortcut. And so I'm just going to run the shortcut. It's pretty dang close to 2 minutes. And then I'm not having to supply that extra invisible information to my calendar. Getting rid of some things that are recurring, that are just super not realistic while my sister's here. I probably should have already gotten rid of. And my shortcut's stuck. I'm just going to let it keep sitting there being stuck while I take care of other stuff.
You got a calendar view up on the sharing thingy.
Thanks. What'd I do without you?
Oh my God. Anybody recommend Palama?
What is that?
Sorry, there was an ad on YouTube.
Oh.
I just was a little bit mesmerized by the by it.
That's fine. Okay. Shortcut is still trying to run. Probably gonna have to start over. But I took care of an action that was on my actions list that I just encountered. That's 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, full confession, I've been really stuck on the upcoming week and haven't done the last 2 weeks yet.
I think I'm done planning my project, but I'm procrastinating on it by checking notifications.
Oh, okay. Wait, you are done, but you're procrastinating?
I'm going to pivot now. Now I'm going to do that. I'm going to process the notebook into the project, because I did actually make the project. And then, yeah.
One of the things on my calendar just makes me sad because I don't know when I'm going to do that. Mm.
That was scam call number 7 today.
Maybe they think that you'll take it seriously if they call enough times to tell you you're going to jail right now.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not sure I understand.
No one's talking to you, Siri. So we're actually in wrap. I'm very much in this mindset of like, I want to dig in on something, and moving from thing to thing is not awesome. I did look through the last 2 weeks and then ended up back in my node for reasons I can't recall. But I'm not, I don't know, some other rabbit hole. I'm in a still reviewy rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Some days that's the victory, right?
Yep.
I do think that having the priorities ahead of time helped avoid some of the less relevant ones, though. I do think that that is true. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm in a better place, but still not where I'd like to be after all this. I still feel like there's a lot of stuff in my head. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a little bit similar. I'm feeling like this program is not listening to my commands that it definitely should be able to.
Yeah.
Finally. Yeah. I definitely need to finish processing this notebook at the very least, because otherwise it'll just be a thing hanging around. And for me, actually sitting down at a desk to do a thing is one of the most rare times.
Yeah, it feels that way lately. But I have to remember, I have not had a quote normal life for a month and a half.
Yeah, that's true.
Because like we visited my sister for the family trip. I had like 1 week of normal and then a bunch of personal stuff and then some more personal stuff. And then my sister came again and then a little more personal stuff. Like
a lot of personal stuff.
Yeah. It's like I'm a person or something.
Are you a person?
Huh. Kind of.
Kind of a person.
I'm kind of a person. Ooh. Oh yeah. I want to make that video. Yeah, this is what happens is I go in here because I'm like, oh yeah, I got to add this to that part of the thing. And then I'm just cleaning it out, which I guess is good because if you said, hey, Brittany, go clean that thing out, I probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I've often said, hey, Brittany, go clean that thing out. And you've been like, no, all the time. It happens.
I know. But I'm also like, dude, why are you telling me that?
True.
Okay. Oh gosh. I just saw something like so old. I can't even with you right now. See? I think that's what I'm supposed to do. I don't know, man. Sometimes it's just about knowing where you are in your head right now.
Yup. Okay. Ah, Facebook. You really are a thing.
It's like it's a whole thing.
They're remaking Around the World in 80 Days. That's kind of cool.
Weird. Oh, it still thinks it's running that shortcut. Isn't that adorable?
It's very adorable.
It's not running that shortcut.
I kind of really hate it when my brain is cynical. It makes me sad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Why is your brain being cynical?
Well, in the last 9 to 12 months, more like 6 to 9 months, I every single time I observe an entertainment, trademark, that includes a person of color, my brain automatically assumes it's a corporate move to align themselves with the public zeitgeist in order to make money, not an actual genuine effort to include marginalized groups in mainstream media.
Well, I mean,
and it could be right. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. My brain automatically assumes this, and I hate that. I hate that my brain automatically assumes that.
Yeah. And I've been on some of the shooting crews where that is exactly what they were doing too.
Yes. It does happen. And sometimes
it's a thing that happens. And then sometimes it's genuine. Yes.
Regardless of that, regardless of the real world, my brain automatically assuming it makes me feel ugly and uncomfortable and judgmental, and I don't like that. I wish that I could just go, hey, great, because here's the thing, even including it as a token, unless I'm wrong, which I could very well be, I think still moves causes forward,
unless there are other factors at play.
Yes, absolutely.
Like that particular depiction, pushes forward a stereotype, blah blah blah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Did you know there's no beta 2 yet?
What? Wow.
I'm still on the first beta I downloaded the week. Now, in all fairness, despite the changes in my life, that was only like 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But in my life, that's like a year. So
right. It
feels like, why haven't you fixed that yet, Apple? Even though 2 weeks is pretty normal for a beta update.
Yep.
There was iOS 13 where they released one like on day 2. The nice thing about doing this on Friday is it gives me time before my thing on Sunday to like confirm with people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm likely to know what on earth is happening the following week because I actually have my calendar out. Don't worry, I have a junk voicemail. Does that make you feel better?
No. Do you have 7?
No, but I have had those days where I have 7. Okay,
yeah.
So I'm trying to be responsible, like real hard, and it's hard. Are we gonna go another segment or close out?
I am feeling close out.
Okay, because that's what I was thinking, but then we kept going, and I was like, we deserve, like, anyone who's using us for a Pomodoro is gonna be grossly disappointed this week.
Well, I mean, they probably were regardless. Yeah, so I think we could, I just needed to type up my notebook thing. That's what I was doing. So let me just write down one thing and then we can do like our wrap.
Okay. I feel like that is like the story of my life right now. is this one more thing?
I like duplicating things so that I can recreate the tagging. Okay.
Oh, right. That's what I needed to do. Wow, I have left so many things unfinished.
Nice. Okay. Okay, I'm done.
You're amazing.
One of the items I have for that is
for that.
What?
Tell me what
sorry,
that
for
is.
For the going up to the cottage planning project is speak with my husband about what is a realistic viewpoint of our exercise potential. Because you know, it is buggy as all heck up there. So mama needs some bug spray if we're going to do that. But if we're not going to anyway, then there's no point in buying bug spray.
Right.
So, and many a time has been the case where I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm getting this and that. No. So it's going to be important to be like, no, seriously, what are we going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if he's like, we are doing it, then I can be sure that we are, because A, he's very determined, and B, it's the social motivation, but we have to know it.
Yeah.
So I am now ready to wrap up.
Okay. Apparently, like, this thing hasn't been live on mine. Okay. So I like that. I've got some like little scattered tasks I need to finish, but it's beautiful and it's going to be 90. And right now it's only 83. Okay. So I have a lot more to do, but I'm going to actually probably get back to things that are better fit for my mental energy today. Okay. Which are going to be like, get one thing and get in there, because this task switching today is just like it's not happening well. Besides, I have a whole bunch of stuff to do for like automations for the guild, and automations are a pretty great thing to do when I'm like, just want to dig in on one thing.
Cool.
So I'm probably going to take a walk, do those other two things because they can all be done on mobile, and go out and try to finish up some more of these things. I want the rest of this in my system. I just don't know that I will do it efficiently today.
Yeah. Well, I am super grateful that you were here and that I am here and that we did this, because and then I had my little tweaks where I like muted myself and made the audio go off and had my music, and I was much better able to focus on this.
Good. I like that. And I think we expressed the last time we did this, we were I was like, oh man, I hope we're helping people. And even though I still have not gotten the pre-scheduled work with Zoom thing going yet, and a lot of people don't come on live, we did actually get feedback from a couple people who watched them offline, and that made me feel all warms and fuzzies, because they're not really somebody who lives in my analytics. Like I have a real job. So I mean, sometimes they do because it's fun to watch things, but anyway, so yeah, like, thank you for reaching out, and let us know like what kinds of things are helpful. We're still tweaking this, like, what document do we show up on screen, like what kind of guideline. And so like, if you want to leave a comment or reach out to us individually, we're totally curious. I mean, it may not end up working for us, in which case we may not, but we totally would appreciate hearing some of your ideas.
Yeah, or suggestions of like specific software or add-ons or whatever, because we'd like to have like a above Colleen said, says what she's doing, above Brittany says.
We've got a long wish list, but at the moment, like, because it's going out from Zoom, it's like it has to go in through Zoom, and then it can't do its magic if it's going through there. And so totally suggestions on that, but also just like what kind of visual cues would be useful to have on screen, since we've said this before, but like we're saying again, the main reason that Colleen was like, hey, when I had other stuff up is and we don't usually do other screen sharing, it's just because we have sensitive client information in a lot of our projects. Otherwise I would probably be a little bit more transparent about like, oh, here's what my calendar looks like, and stuff like that. But I can't screen myself and actually mentally be present on a weekly review at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, what kinds of things are useful to pop up? I sort of liked having this one that I was updating as I did it until I got too in the weeds and stopped updating it because it still says last 2 weeks, and that's not true. Anyway, thank you so much for
highlight mine, but we'll figure it out. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for joining us if you did, and hope you had a good weekly review.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.